Dating apps. We meet again. About a year ago, I made a video about dating apps, mainly Hinge, and that whole video was really just a bit. Basically, I went on Hinge and swiped through profiles and came up with the dumbest opening lines I could in an attempt at comedy.
She said, "What if I told you that I'm vegetarian?" And I said, "I'd find a cow and roundhouse kick it in the face."
The punchline being that at the end, the girls I matched with just messaged me back telling me what an unfunny asshole I am.
I would never, ever, 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 ever go on a date with you.
Which, I mean, isn't far off. Art imitates life after all. But the whole thing was just a joke. At the time, I wasn't really taking dating seriously because in a few weeks, I was about to move to a new state entirely. That's right. Last summer, I took a page from La La Land, left him at a Greyhound station west of Santa Fe, and I moved to Idaho. So, probably should have finished the movie and then made that decision. But here we are in Idaho. It's just, excuse me, did I say you could come up here? But here we are in Idaho, just me, this dog. Oh, that girl who beat up her dog and found God, she lives here. Brooke House, I think is her name. She lives in Boise. And Aaron Paul, he lives here too, but he has a wife.
Welcome to Idaho.
And they have a, what's the word? Quaint little cabin in the woods. And even that dog abuser chick has a boyfriend.
Breathe in fresh air, smell, see, hear. Use all our limbs, use all our senses.
So, man, the bar is low. Guess it's time I start taking online dating seriously. Are you just gonna sit there the whole time? Is that you've decided you're part of this now? Let me quickly run you through my online dating history just so you can get a better sense of how bad I am at this. I have been pretty actively using Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge since I moved here, which was the summer of 2019. In that time, I have been on, drumroll please, 2 dates in over a year, which isn't something I like to advertise, but here we are. At the moment, I think there are 3 major factors that are negatively impacting my online dating life. Number 1, the global pandemic, but unfortunately, there's not much I can do about that one. Sorry guys, my hands are tied. I've got my hands deep into the pockets of big virus, so conflict of interest, you get it. Number 2, location, location, location. Idaho is a very red state, and I am a pretty blue boy, so I swipe past a lot of people who I just know immediately I would never get along with. Because of where I'm located, my dating pool is potentially smaller than it would be if I were located in a different city. The third and final factor impacting my success is my entire personality and who I am at my core. In order to achieve peak performance, I must reach into the darkest depths of my subconscious to melt and reforge my soul, and then I will rise from the ashes of my prior self as the ultimate Chad. Well, I mean, that might be a little dramatic. I just need to redo my profile, is what I'm saying. So, the 2 factors I can change are the second and the third. My location, kind of, and my profile. But I'm not just gonna be changing shit willy-nilly, like I'm some kind of amateur. No, I'm gonna be using the scientific method. The one from Science. Heard of it? Idiot, God. Barkeep, another round, let's keep this thing going, all right? Oh, that's right, I am the barkeep, damn it. That is good, but man, you would not believe what they charge for drinks here. I mean, whoever runs this place is a total dick. As a refresher, for all the non-scholars out there, here are the steps to the scientific method. Number 1, make an observation. In this case, I am alone. Number 2, ask a question. Why am I alone? Number 3, make a hypothesis. Maybe I'm alone because my dating profile sucks and also the other aforementioned reasons. Number 4, make a prediction, which we'll get to that. Number 5, test the hypothesis, design an experiment, get some data. And number 6, iterate, which this isn't real science, so we're probably not gonna do that one. But 5 out of 6 steps is pretty good. The experiment will be broken up into 3 phases, and the reason for that is because it sounds cool. In phase 1, I'm gonna start by showing you my current dating profiles so you can see what I'm working with. Then, I'm gonna delete my accounts and recreate them using the same pictures and bios and captions and all that, just to sort of reset the whole thing so that I'm shown to the maximum number of people in my immediate area. Then, every day for a week, I'm gonna swipe through until I've swiped right on 5 people. That way, by the end of the week, I will have swiped right on 105 people between Tinder, Hinge, and Bumble, which I feel like is a pretty good number. And if you're familiar with Hinge, you know that it's not really a swipe app. So to keep it consistent, I'm just gonna like the person's first picture to essentially swipe right. Where Hinge really comes in is that because of the way that it works, I will be able to see exactly what pictures and captions other people are liking on my profile. So I will keep track of that to see what is and isn't working. I will also keep track of how many people I swipe through total and the number of matches I get. And I feel like that will give us a pretty good baseline. Now, moving right along to phase 2. After I've collected that initial baseline data, I'm gonna do a bunch of research on how to improve your dating profile. Using all that information, I will reinvent my dating profiles and run the experiment again in phase 3. This time, I'll keep my location as Boise at first, just to let the local scene drool over my fresh, new, polished, chromed out profile. Then, after another week of collecting data in Boise, I will switch my location of all my profiles to Seattle to address my location issue. I grew up near Seattle, so there are probably more people similar to me there than there are here. And while Seattle's population is significantly bigger than Boise's, the number of profiles I'm swiping right on will be constant. So I'm hoping that that isn't a huge source of error. But I'm not a scientist, I'm an idiot, so who knows. Also, you might have noticed that I'm really only keeping track of the number of matches I get, not so much what happens after I get a match. And I will keep track of what goes down in the DMs, and I'll talk about it if it ends up being interesting. But the main focus is just gonna be the number of matches because I feel like that's easier to quantify. And again, idiot. So, barkeep, no, it's still me. God, I'm stupid. Now it's time for my predictions. We've designed an experiment. Now let's take some shots in the dark. I think for the first round with my current profile in Boise, I'm going to get 10 matches total. Out of 105 right swipes, 10 matches. And if you're not familiar with dating apps or you don't use them or never use them or whatever, that might seem like a really low number. But honestly, given my history, it's pretty optimistic. For the second half of the experiment, once I rebrand myself, in Boise, I think I will get 15 matches total. Out of the same 105 right swipes, 15 matches. When I switch to Seattle, I think I might double the baseline. I think I might get 20 matches. That could be bold, but I'm feeling good about it. Also could be the 3 mojitos I've had, but you know. So, without further ado, Johnson, it's time. Initiate phase 1. See, I told you it sounded cool. I mean, come on. What am I, in an action movie? Who am I, Jason Statham, but with more hair? Give me a break, guy, come on. Oh, so you're back now? You're really fucking with the continuity of my video here, okay? This is a high-level production. I can't have you coming in and coming out, all right? So the first part of phase 1, phase 1.1, if you will. I'm gonna show you my current dating profiles. Now you're gonna leave again? Really, just like that? Just when I got you in the shot? Unbelievable, dude, unbelievable. Starting out with Tinder, by Jasper, 21, my job. And these are the pictures I'm using. I've got this one of me looking very dramatic. Honestly, I kind of look like a douchebag, don't I? Oh, you apron on, you like to cook, you fucking cool, dude. And the saddest part about this picture is I had to set up my fucking camera on a self-timer to take it. How fucking depressing is that? I don't know anyone, so I had to take it myself. My bio is a big fan of cooking and accent lighting, which is dumb, but I've actually already tried to do some experimenting with this. It used to be like a funnier line, like I was trying to be funny, and I decided to tone it down to just like name some things that might be relatable, like cooking. I feel like is something that people like to do, or people like to have other people do. So that's why I threw that in there. And then the other pictures are just like, this is an old picture of me and my friend. This is a picture from one of my videos, because I've resorted to just taking screenshots from my videos because that's the only time that I capture myself on film. Bumble is kind of more the same. They're all pretty similar. This is actually a selfie right here, which I took, I think it was about a year ago. This is about a year old now. But I have never felt more uncomfortable than taking this selfie. I felt more comfortable setting up my self timer than taking the selfie. Then I have the prompt, the world would be a better place with more, and I answered Paul Brothers because I'm hilarious. And then I have the quickest way to my heart is through my aorta. I think, I don't know, I'm not a doctor. That's not that funny, but I couldn't think of anything else. And then my zombie apocalypse plan is to die. If it comes to that, what's the point? Which is true. That is my plan. So with Bumble, with the prompts and stuff, I've sort of gone for the funnier route. Like I've tried to make like jokes mainly, which hasn't worked because Bumble is like the app I do the worst on across the board, hands down. Like I think in my time of doing Bumble, I have gotten like maybe 2 matches, maybe 2. Like I do horribly on Bumble. So I'm looking to improve that. And lastly, Hinge. Hinge, again, same pictures and stuff. They're all the same. I have a picture of me and my mom on here, which is kind of cute. And then I have first round is on me if you can guess my favorite type of pasta. I'm convinced that the moon landing did 9/11, which if you watched my other dating app video, I've used that same line for over 2 years now. So probably should change it up, but it does work. It gets the most likes out of anything. And the last one, I'm looking for someone who likes cocktails and cooking. Again, these used to be a lot more like the second one, the moon landing did 9/11. They used to be more sort of ironic and funny, or like at least an attempt at funny, but I've since dumbed them down because that wasn't working. So I thought if I made them more generic, maybe I'd get more likes or swipes or whatever. And I don't know if I have. That's what we're trying to figure out. I guess now it's time to run these for a week, and I will use these profiles for the next week, and we will reconvene next Saturday. Well, next Saturday for me. I don't know what day it is for you, but see you then. Good evening. The week is over and the numbers are in. I've been crunching them, I've been running them, got a couple mainframes involved, so rest assured this is some good, juicy data. The Associated Press is gonna be all over this one. Using my giant brain and my 2 years of college, I developed this unbelievably complex spreadsheet to keep track of all the numbers for the week. So let's dive into this. Let's see what the numbers say. Now, Tinder and Bumble were pretty consistent in terms of how many profiles I would have to swipe through before, finding 5 people that I wanted to swipe right on. They were fairly similar throughout. You can see that for the week, the average number of swipes I would go through before hitting 5 right swipes. For Tinder, it was 15, and for Bumble, it was 22. So those are pretty much in line with each other. Hinge is where everything went totally off the rails, and I don't really know why, but as you can see, for day 1, Tinder was 13 swipes, Bumble was 19 swipes, and Hinge was 13 swipes, so those are all pretty close to each other. Day 2, Tinder was 19, Bumble was 20, and Hinge was 32, which is a little bit higher, but not totally crazy. And then for day 3, Tinder was 15 swipes, Bumble was 27 swipes, which is a little higher than before, and Hinge was 195 swipes. I don't know what it was about Hinge, but I had to sit there and swipe through 195 profiles before I found just 5 that I wanted to swipe right on. And I don't know why this is. It's pretty consistent for the rest of the week. As you can see, day 4 for Hinge was 136, but Tinder was at 14, Bumble was back down at 13. Day 5, Hinge was at 62, and day 6, Hinge was at 82. But then for some reason on day 7, I only had to swipe through 9 profiles before finding 5 to swipe right on Hinge, which is the lowest number of swipes across the board for between all the apps. So it's weird because Hinge had both the maximum and the minimum. Overall average to 5 right swipes was 38, but take that with a grain of salt because these Hinge numbers were so high and so different from the other apps. As you can see, I graphed them down here, and this yellow line is Hinge and this red and blue line are Bumble and Tinder. So it's pretty much an outlier. So I think the important averages are the individual averages. Now, the total number of people I swiped through for the week was 788, which seems really high. So that is actually kind of interesting to see because when you're swiping, you're not really keeping track of this kind of stuff. So it's just fun to look at. So yeah, that's 788 profiles total to eventually in total swipe right on 105 profiles, right? That's the constant for this experiment. Every week I will be swiping right on 105 profiles, regardless of what phase I'm in. Now I also kept track on each app how many people swiped right on me. For Bumble, it was 78, Tinder was 31, and Hinge was 7. Hinge was the lowest by a large margin. So for a total of 116 people swiping right on me, that's not bad, right? I swiped right on 105 people and 116 people swiped right on me. So we're trending in the right direction, I guess. For the 7 people that liked me on Hinge, one of them liked the douchey black and white cooking photo of me. 4 of them liked my uncomfortable selfie. And then 1 person responded to the prompt, first round is on me if you can guess my favorite shape of pasta. And then 1 person responded to the prompt, I'm convinced that the moon landing did 9/11. So my uncomfortable selfie I took last year did the best by far. So maybe I'll keep that for the next phase, or maybe I'll take a new version of it, a more current selfie, and we'll see how that does. Now it's time for the big number, the main number, the creme de la creme. Is that how that goes? Is that saying? The creme de la creme, fuck. Now it's time for the big boy number, the reason we're doing it all, right? The number of matches I got. Now, I predicted for the first week with my current profile in Boise, I would get 10 matches. And I actually got 12. So, hey, I'm doing better than I anticipated. So I broke it down by app. Tinder, I got 2 matches. Bumble, I got 3 matches. And Hinge, I got 7 matches, which really doesn't make any sense because I had the least number of people like me on Hinge, and I also had to swipe through the most number of profiles to find people that I liked. So I was thinking for sure that Hinge would be by far the lowest, but no, it came out on top by a healthy margin. So that's what's interesting about data. You can't predict it. You never know what's gonna happen. And it's like opening a present on Christmas morning. All right, that is phase 1 done, in the bag. Moving on to phase 2. I've done it. I haven't really done it. I've done the bare minimum at best. So, also, we're done with artsy B-roll. No more weird vignettes no one asked for, okay? Art is dead, all right? No more fancy cocktails, all right? I got a warm Keystone Light here, Colorado's finest. Tastes like used bathwater. In my research, I found a variety of YouTube videos and articles, all attempting to give advice on how to improve your dating profile. And there was a lot of crossover between all these sources, so I decided to focus on 6 YouTube videos total. 3 that were made by women and 3 that were made by men. And some of these videos were helpful and the other ones were made by men. I don't know, maybe I was just looking in the wrong places, but it seemed like every video I watched where a dude was giving advice, it was just like, what's up bros, it's your boy Sir Fucks a Lot, back with another crazy dating app video. As you bros know, women are objects and men are apex predators designed for destroying pussy. Without further ado, let's get into my top 10 tips on how to use Tinder to get your dick sucked 11 times a day for the rest of your life while simultaneously securing a bright future for the patriarchy. Let's jump into it. So yeah, I took a lot of the advice from dudes with a grain of salt. And also, I mean, it does kind of make sense to focus on the advice coming from the gender that's going to be swiping on you. So here I have a list of the most common tips I found across these videos, and I broke it up into advice regarding your pictures and advice regarding your bio or your responses to the Hinge prompts or whatever. Starting with the pictures. The biggest piece of advice I got from, I think it was mentioned in all 3 of the videos I watched that were made by women, but it was to have a picture of you smiling. That's right. You don't want to have too much blue steel going on, all right? Apparently, smiles are inviting, and someone is more likely to swipe right on you if you are just given a nice warm smile. So, picture with a smile. Your photos need to be recent. You need to be the best version of yourself. Just be you. Be you. Unless you have a shitty personality, and then throw this out the window, become someone else. Pictures with friends. Now, you don't want to have too many group photos because that just gets annoying. Like when you swipe past a profile and they're all group shots, it's like, who am I looking at? Whose profile is this? So you just want to have a couple to show that you have a social life and that you have friends, which is going to be tough for me, but we'll try to make it work. No selfies, especially if you're a guy. The girl that made the video I was watching made that very clear. I don't really understand why. If you remember back to phase 1, the selfie that I had on my profile got the most likes on Hinge out of any other picture. So the data does not lie, just saying. But we will follow her advice and I will not have a selfie in my new profile. Don't lead with a shirtless pic. All right, guys, I'm talking to you, all right? I know you got that photo from like 2 years ago in Cancun where your bro snapped a pic and you're like, fucking yeah, dude, and you're fucking looking jacked. Don't use that as your first picture. I know you want to, don't do it. My research shows that that makes you seem vain. But if you put it as your second picture, where it's not the main focus, you're practically Gandhi, but with abs. Not gonna be a problem with me. I've put on a few LBs over the quarantine, I'm not gonna lie, so I will not be removing my clothing. The order of your photos matters. So I would think probably put the portrait of you smiling first, just so right off the bat, people can be like, oh yeah, that's what that person looks like. And then hit them with your 6-pack pic, all right? Photos of things you like, right? You wanna showcase your hobbies. Get some action shots of you doing whatever it is you like to do. Maybe you're in a recreational bocce ball league, all right? Throw a pic of that on there. Maybe you'll find another bocce babe. Look natural. I guess you don't want anything superposed, all right? Some candid photos. Just pretend like you're doing something cool. You're talking to someone. Oh, hey Jim, how's it going? How's the divorce, you know? Ha, snap, boom, picture of me giving Jeff shit about his divorce, right? So yeah, just try to look natural. Unless you're a woman, then cake on as much makeup as you possibly can because of the past 100 years of gender norms. Get a sharp haircut. This is actually one of the few pieces of advice I took from one of the dudes I found, but I feel like it goes for everyone, right? You're gonna have some new photos taken, get your hair did. Hence why I no longer look like I haven't left my house in 7 months. Body language is important. One of the dudes I found was just like, pump your chest out in all your photos so that your potential mates know that you're the alpha. So, we'll keep that in mind, I guess. For the bio, the most common tip I found was to use humor when writing out your bio. Maybe throw a knock-knock joke in there, a chicken cross the road kind of thing, right? Leave room for the imagination. You don't want to write your whole life story in your bio. You gotta keep them guessing, you know? Represent who you are. Be you. Again, unless you suck, and then figure out someone else to be. Easy to respond to. This one was actually a good tip, I thought. Putting things in your bio that are more prompts for other people to reply back. So, you know, pose a question, ask them what their favorite Matthew McConaughey movie is, I don't know. But something that if they want to respond, they have an easy jumping off point. Put your education in your bio, or if you're me, don't. And finally, be personal, original, and funny. And that's all it takes. These are the tips that I took into consideration when I redid my profile. So let me show you what I cooked up here. I think it's an improvement, but I guess we'll see. Once again, I set up my self timer, snapped a bunch of new pictures of myself, and here's what I came up with. The first picture I have here is a nice portrait of me cracking a little bit of a smile to address that first piece of advice there. The second picture is a little bit more posed. I'm sort of giving the camera a saucy look. I don't know, thought I'd try it out. The third picture is me hitting the keys. I am not very good at piano, but I do enjoy it. So that tackles the photos of things you like tip. My fourth photo is me looking like I'm, pouring a drink for someone, about to make a cocktail. My buddy Jeff, who's got the divorce going on, about to whip him up something strong here. Trying to go for like a more of a candid smile because my first picture was like more of a posed smile. So that was the idea behind that one. The next one, I actually kept this picture of me and my friend because even though it is a little bit old, it is a good picture. And I don't have any recent pictures with my friends because A, we don't really take pictures when we're together, and B, we haven't seen each other in forever. So this was the best I could do. And then lastly, I kept my douchey cooking photo because I'm a douchey cook, all right? Sue me. For my bio on Tinder, I tried to come up with something that was short and funny. So I don't think I'm out of anyone's league, ... except maybe the NFL. They won't answer my calls. So that's something. You can tell that was an attempt at a joke. That was Tinder. We'll go over to Bumble. All the pictures on all the apps are the same, but we'll go through my responses to the prompts. So on Bumble, I have, as a child, I was really into chess, the thinking man's game, which is ironic because I'm an idiot. Then I have, I'm still not over Nina. Wait, what was it again? And then lastly, I have, if I were president, I'd start by asking you to be my first lady. And then over to Hinge, again, all the photos are the same, but for the first prompt I have, do you agree or disagree that umbrellas are superior to rain jackets? That is something I am very passionate about, and I have what I believe to be a lot of well thought out arguments to make my case, but that's for another time. The second prompt I have is, the one thing I'd love to know about you is, what's your favorite cocktail? Again, trying to apply this easy to respond to tip to my profile. And then the third and final one is, you should not go out with me if you like guys with 12 packs. I've only got 11. So fucking ding, 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 ding. Comedy alert. So those are my new profiles. I feel like they're better than my old ones. I mean, at the very least, they're up to date and higher quality, and I think I look okay in them. So that combined with some of the tips I followed here, I mean, I should be unstoppable, right? Like, I should have a World War Z style horde of women scaling my balcony, right? I deserve, I'm a nice guy. I deserve a horde of women. Let a nice guy win for once. Let a nice guy get a horde of women for once. The only way to find out if any of this worked is to test it in phase 3. And I'll let you in on a little movie magic here. I've already done phase 3. I've got the numbers. My spreadsheet is bursting with data. So let's see how we did. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for. How many matches did I get? How many girlfriends do I now have? When's the wedding, right? But first, let's once again review the predictions I made at the beginning of this video. Now, if you remember in phase 1, I predicted that in Boise with my original profile, I was going to get 10 matches. And as you saw, I actually got 12. So we were heading in the right direction. For phase 3, I predicted that in Boise with my new profile, I would get 15 matches. And in Seattle, I would get 20 matches, doubling my predicted baseline. So starting with phase 3 in Boise with my new profile, the average for the week, again, this is how many profiles I swiped through before swiping right on 5. So the average for the week for Tinder was 20, for Bumble was 23, Hinge was 104. And if we look back in phase 1 to compare, Tinder was 15, Bumble was 22, and Hinge was 76. So the averages for Tinder and Bumble in phase 1 Boise and phase 3 Boise were pretty similar. And you can also see that once again, Hinge did not disappoint. On day 4, I swiped through an all-time high of 391 profiles before finding 5 to swipe right on. I didn't even know there were 391 people in Idaho. So This is news to me. The total average to 5 right swipes was 49 in phase 3 Boise, and in phase 1 Boise, it was 38. So for whatever reason, I swiped through more profiles in phase 3. So down to the first juicy section of data, the number of people who swiped on me. Now in phase 1, with my old profile, if you remember, I had 116 people swipe right on me, 78 on Bumble, 31 on Tinder, and 7 on Hinge. So how'd my new profile do? Awful. Look at this. In phase 3 in Boise with my new profile, I had 36 people swipe right on me. 36. In phase 1 with my what I thought was my shitty profile, I had 116. What happened? What did I do wrong? But what's even weirder is if you look at the breakdown for these, in phase 1 on Bumble, 78 people swiped right on me. But in phase 3 Boise on Bumble, only 2 people swiped right on me. Like that, what happened? Why is there such a big disparity between phase 1 and phase 3? And it's also weird because the other 2 apps, Tinder and Hinge, are fairly consistent between phase 1 and phase 3. You can see Tinder is exactly the same. In phase 1, 31 people swiped right on me on Tinder, and in phase 3, 31 people swiped right on me on Tinder. So those are the same. And Hinge, you know, in phase 1 it was 7, and in phase 3 Boise it was 3. So, you know, at least they're both the same number of digits. But for some reason, I just bombed hard on Bumble. I don't know why. My one theory I had has to do with the way that the app works when you create an account. So they have this thing called Spotlight, which all of the apps have a version of this. I don't exactly know what it does, but they advertise it as a premium feature you can pay for. And if you do and you enable it, it shows you to more people. And when you create an account on Bumble, it gives you like a free trial of Spotlight for like the first 24 hours or something. So for 24 hours, you are using the Spotlight feature for free and being shown to a lot more people. So initially I thought, oh, maybe that's why the number for Bumble is so much higher in phase 1, because I was using this feature that shows me to more people. But that shouldn't really matter, because in phase 3, I deleted all my accounts and recreated new ones. So when I created my new account with my new profile, I should have had the same like free trial of Spotlight. So I don't know what else to blame for this giant disparity than my profile, I guess. I have no idea. So we're not exactly off to a great start by any means, but we haven't looked at how many matches I got yet. Even though I got less likes on my profile overall this time, it's still possible that I got more matches. It could be like a quality over quantity kind of thing. So, drum roll please, in phase 3, in Boise, with my brand new shiny profile, I got 4 matches. Fuck. I don't even know what to say. This is not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting at the very least that I would get, you know, around the same amount of matches, but 4? Where did I go wrong? You know, I tried to make my profile better. I watched videos about it. I thought it was better, but apparently single women ages 21 to 24 in Ada County disagree. This is not exactly what I was hoping for. And if we go to the Hinge extra data here, you can see that out of the 3 likes I got on Hinge, one of them liked my douchey cooking photo, one of them liked my response to the agree or disagree prompt, which was the umbrella thing, and then one of them liked my 12-pack joke. So I didn't get a single like on any of the new photos I took. The only photo that got a like was my douchey cooking photo, which is an old photo that was in my old profile as well. So yeah, I really just crashed and burned here. Like I'm a little bit shocked. I did not expect it to do this poorly, but not all hope is lost, right? We haven't looked at the data for Seattle yet. I mean, I picked Seattle because I thought it would give me a little bit of an advantage. You know, it has a bigger population. It's kind of my home turf. It was all playing in my favor. But none of that mattered because I did worse in Seattle than I did in either of the other 2 trials. So life is fleeting and God is dead. Good night. Fine, I guess I'll finish this video. As you can see, in Seattle, 38 people liked my profiles and that resulted in 3 matches, 2 on Hinge, 1 on Tinder. On Hinge, I got 1 like on my douche photo, 1 like on my candid making a drink photo, 1 like on my piano picture, 1 like on the picture with me and my friend, and then a like on the 12-pack thing. And also you'll notice that Hinge once again outdid itself with an average to 5 right swipes of 202, almost double that of Phase 3 Boise, resulting in a total average to 5 right swipes of 81, which is the highest across the board by far. This didn't go exactly how I had hoped it would, in case you didn't pick up on that already. So I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna mull this over, try to derive some kind of conclusion from it. And I know I said I wouldn't, but I think I am gonna make one last cocktail because A, this is now empty, and B, isn't strong enough to cancel out my disappointment. So I will be back shortly with my final thoughts. All right, it's been a while, and there's a few reasons for that, but mainly, I didn't know what to do with this video. I honestly considered just scrapping the whole thing, because what's the takeaway? What does my data prove? It certainly doesn't prove what I intended it to, which is that putting a little bit of effort into your online dating profile will guarantee you better results. That's clearly not what the data shows. But I thought about it, and I realized, or I guess remembered, that that's kind of just how science works, right? You don't do an experiment to get the results you want, you do an experiment to see if you get the results that you think you might. And sometimes you don't. But in this case, that kind of sucks. I think I got pretty attached to a very ideal arc for this video to take, and that's not the one that it took. Not only did my profile do worse in Boise, but it did terribly in Seattle, which is even more discouraging. I thought changing my location to Seattle was my ace in the hole. I thought it would guarantee me more matches. And the fact that it didn't not only changed the outcome of this video, but it was also a little bit of a blow to my confidence in general. You know, I've lived in Boise for over a year now, and I don't love it. You know, I haven't made any friends. My romantic life was but a dwindling flame before the pandemic, so now it's fully extinguished. So I guess I was hoping that trying online dating in what I believed to be a more ideal location would give me some kind of reassurance. Like, oh yeah, dating's not going great here, but I also don't even really like living here. So eventually, when I move, that's when the world's really gonna open up for me. But I guess that might not be the case. Maybe dating sucks and is hard regardless of where you live. Who knew? What I did learn from this experiment is exactly why I don't like online dating, which is really too bad because on paper, dating apps are great for a person like me. I'm someone who is good at some things, but meeting new people and putting myself out there isn't one of them. So to be able to just throw a few pictures of myself up on an app and immediately be exposed to hundreds, if not thousands of people in my area is great. But for me, that's where the appeal of online dating ends. Meeting someone through a dating app is just so much less predictable than meeting someone in person. Sure, maybe you think they're cute in their pictures, or you laughed at something they wrote in their bio, but that's your only perception of who that person is. I just think that outside of the context of a pandemic, meeting people in person is a lot more fun and in some ways a lot easier. Yeah, it might take a little bit more confidence to just walk up to a stranger and shoot your shot, but at least in that case, you know that you want to shoot your shot. Because even if you have the most basic interaction with the person who caught your eye, you'll learn infinitely more about them from that brief exchange than you will from staring at their dating profile while you're sitting on the toilet. And I, like many of you I'm sure, have learned this the hard way through the couple of Tinder dates I've been on over the past year or so. You know, the people I've met have all been perfectly nice and kind people, but upon meeting them, I often couldn't help but think, I don't know if I would have asked this person out had we run into each other in the real world. And there's a pretty good chance that they were thinking the exact same thing about me. And yeah, I mean, it's led to some awkward situations, which, for the record, have been entirely my fault. But the point is, you do get an immediate sense of compatibility right when you meet someone. And you just totally lose that with online dating. So, should you put some effort into your dating profile? Yeah, why not? I mean, obviously, it works for some people. You know, these apps have been around for long enough that there are couples out there who met on Tinder that have kids now. So maybe you'll be one of those people. And finally, one thing I realized about my experiment and about online dating culture as a whole is that the notion that getting a lot of matches is desirable is a little bit flawed, I think. Because unless you're just trying to hook up with as many people as you can, the number of matches you get doesn't really matter if you're not getting the right matches. And unfortunately, I think that's just down to pure luck. On top of that, the odds are kind of stacked against you because you have to swipe right on someone based on your shallow perception of them, and they have to match with you based on their shallow perception of you. And then on the off chance that you can get through the gauntlet that is the DMs and actually score a date with this person, both of your expectations have to be at least slightly exceeded for there to be any kind of future. So it can just feel like a lot of hoops to jump through when, more often than not, it seems like something goes wrong along the way. So yeah, if you haven't tried to improve your online dating profile yet, give it a shot. You know, try to stack the deck, I guess. And who knows, maybe the first person you swipe on will be your soulmate, and that cute new pic you put up will be the reason that you match. But if you're like me and you kind of feel like you've tried everything and nothing's really worked and you're kind of just feeling a bit discouraged about the whole thing, maybe just take a break. You know, now that I'm done with this video, I'll probably delete everything and just try to reset a little bit until inevitably a few months from now, I'll be rewatching Master of None, or I'll come across a picture of two of my friends who are an item and be reminded that that's something that I would like someday. And in a moment of self-pity and loneliness, I will re-download all these apps and do it all again. And thus, the cycle continues. Good night.